Hello everybody, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Bethesda Twitch channel. I'm Pete Hines, DC Deacon, and once again I'm going to be streaming the Elder Scrolls Legends for your entertainment and minimal educational value, and to help improve the educational portion of this show so you actually learn something useful, because God knows me lightning bolting my face is not particularly useful, even if it is hilarious and somewhat redeeming when you do it to yourself. I brought along a special guest. Please welcome the one and only CHARM3R here on the stream. CHARM3R, welcome to the Bethesda Twitch stream. How are you, sir?
I'm great, and thanks for having me. I'm ultra excited to be here and to help out with some Chaos Arena.
Well, no pressure. Last time, CVH and I think, went 4-3 in a regular arena run. But as I mentioned to you on Reddit, I will accept nothing more than 7 wins out of your expert advice and tutelage, even though I am actually the one playing and very likely to screw things up at any given moment. But it is Chaos Arena, so anything that can and will happen is going to. So the first question is, what would you, sir, like to draft this week? We have the choice between Mage, Spell Sword, and Assassin. I guess the first question is, first of all, let me stop. Hold on a second. We have a lot of new players, a lot of folks that came into the mobile launch, which is out now for a couple of weeks. Let me remind everybody what Chaos Arena is. This is a once-a-month event where we take lots of different lane conditions that can show up in PvE only, that when you're playing against the AI, either in solo arena or in just practice mode, and we bring all of those scenarios and conditions to PvP arena. So all kinds of crazy stuff can and will take place during your matches. You can get different lane conditions, you can get different scenarios, like each player shuffles 3 legendary or uniques into their decks, or players switch decks, or this lane condition has some crazy impact on the game. So that's what Chaos Arena is. It only shows up once a month. This is the weekend for Chaos Arena. It just started, runs through the weekend. And so the question is, CHARM3R, when you're doing Arena, what, if anything, do you do differently maybe when you're drafting a deck than when you do regular PvP Arena?
So there's 2 things that I usually try to keep in mind when I'm doing any kind of arena, and that's the strength of the commons available.
Yep.
And in this case, because of Heroes of Skyrim, the second thing you want to keep in mind is the commons specifically in Skyrim, because unless something has changed, we're slightly weighted in favor of seeing those cards, meaning we're going to have a higher frequency.
Yep, we are still weighted towards Heroes of Skyrim, and of course the idea being there, this is the new set that just came out. People like playing with the new cards. They like drafting dragons, or at least having the option to, or shouts. And so to CHARM3R's point, yes, you are more likely to see more picks that involve Heroes of Skyrim cards than base set. So we care about our commons. We care about the things, because you might like, well, this color pair has this awesome, legendary or unique card that I want to pick, but the odds of actually seeing that are really small. Whereas the commons, more likely to see those, even multiple times during a draft. So Assassin, Spell, Sword, Mage, any particular inklings?
Yeah, so for me the thing that stands out immediately are Spell, Sword, and Mage, particularly because both of those have the willpower attribute, and willpower is very, very strong in Chaos Arena. Willpower is home to a lot of things that make tokens.
Willpower is yellow, kids. Willpower is the yellow, and so there you get a variety of different cards, like Scouting Patrol. We have Wolves in yellow, right? Willpower's got a few wolves.
We have Wolves. We have Imperial Reinforcements. We have things even like Marked Man, for example, is in Willpower, and that doesn't necessarily create a token, but creates a card you can play for free, so it's an extra body. And all of those cards are pretty good in Chaos Arena specifically because of the special lane effects. So some of the lanes that you might see are things that reduce the cost of another card in your hand by 1 when a creature is summoned, or the zoo lane where you get a random creature, so you'll turn your 1/1 guys into much bigger threats. Yep. And so for me, I think the choice for Chaos Arena has to be one of those 2.
Okay, so we're going to try and take advantage of tokens. And again, of course, there's no way to know for sure we'll actually see any cards that generate tokens, but we can try and stack those in our favor. You know, Assassin can be a pretty popular class in Arena because, well, let's be honest, the opportunity to take Lightning Bolts is pretty strong. Lightning Bolts are awesome. And that would lean us toward, of course, it's just as likely in Mage. So then the question becomes Spell Sword or Mage?
Yeah, and you kind of touched on a big one. So for me, I think that it's probably going to be Mage because the other thing that's really good in Arena are cards with Prophecy. They're great in any game mode, but specifically in Arena because your deck is smaller, it's only 30 cards. You have a higher frequency of hitting your Prophecy cards, and Mage is home to some of the best ones, especially at the common slot. So cards like Lightning Bolt, Light Piercing Javelin, Mystic Dragon from Heroes of Skyrim can be a game changer on its own, and with the increase in frequency for us to be able to draft them, I think that's the best choice here.
We're going Mage, kids. And by the way, I should have mentioned at the outset, as always, you should be linking your Bethesda.net account and your Twitch account, because by watching streams like this one, you're automatically eligible for all kinds of free drops. And the reason that I know that that is happening right now is over here to my left where Joe posts the Twitch chat for me. On my end, I can see all the people that right now are being gifted and winning all sorts of different drops just for watching or streaming the Elder Scrolls Legends, which is a little bit annoying, and I hope Twitch fixes a way for me to mute this so that I can actually see all of your comments, because I see a lot of congratulations announcements being sent to folks. But in addition to those, we also like to give away things for people who are here and watching, and so we're going to give away 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim, usually after every match. But in addition, we're bringing back the very successful, highly anticipated giveaway of 60 packs of Heroes of Skyrim. 60 packs. And we're not just going to give away one of those, we're going to give away 2 of those today. So we are going to give away one in the middle of the stream, and then we'll give away one at the very end. So I highly encourage you to not go anywhere. CHARM3R is actually, obviously, incredibly charming, so I don't know why you would want to leave because he's here. You can just mute it whenever I'm talking. But CHARM3R is charming, and so you should be here for everything he's going to have to say, but you should also stay because you got a chance to win 60 packs twice. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're giving away a lot of stuff today. All right, CHARM3R, right off the bat, a 3, a 4, and a 6. I think I'm immediately leaning towards a Devour out of the 3 of these. Fate Weaver is, I mean, at least it's a cantrip, but a 3/3 for 6 isn't great. But Riverhold, Escort, Fate Weaver, Devour, where are you leaning?
So for me, this is the kind of thing that very early on, you might make one decision, and then if we were far later in our draft, we might make a different one. So
probably, particularly with a card like Fate Weaver, I would guess in particular, right? The more prophecies, the more likely you are to want to play that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we were farther on and we knew that we'd already drafted, 10 or so prophecies, then we would slam dunk the Fate Weaver and be really excited. But right now, not knowing how many we're going to get and what's going to be presented, I think it's hard to pass up something like Devour.
Yep.
Devour is hard removal, so it'll even kill things with Ward, and we may or may not end up with some dragons to get the benefit.
Yep.
Chances are we'll have at least one, so I think that is the way to go.
By the way, very important for folks, like when you're looking at cards and you're trying to evaluate, I see this all the time. I see it in Magic, I see it in Legends, that people focus too much on the part where it says, give its keywords to a random dragon in your hand and think, oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to have any dragons. Like, it doesn't matter. Everything after destroy a creature with 4 power or less is irrelevant. That is a viable ability. It's better than execute. It kills a lot more and hits a lot more relevant things. Like, don't discount the card just because you may or may not hit the rest of those conditions. Doesn't matter. Like, would you be willing to pay 4 to kill a lot of stuff with 4 power or less? And the answer is yes, we would. Okay. Well, to your point about are we going to get prophecy cards, there's a Camlorn Sentinel. We got stuff low on the curve here. So are you a bigger fan of the Prophecy Guard with the Sentinel or just a slightly cheaper Veteran Enforcer? I'm kind of inclined to go Sentinel here, but I'm just kind of a fan of that card in general. What do you think?
Yeah, I would 100% agree just because they're vanilla 2-drops. I'm a big fan of 2-drops. I like my curve. If, I had an ideal state, it would just kind of slant down, right? Like you have more 2s than 3s, more 3s than 4s, but just a vanilla 2/3 isn't exciting, and Prophecy is always fantastic. It's a Prophecy Guard, so it might save us from a lethal swing.
Yep.
Sentinel's the way to go.
Okay. Okay, again, another card that really kind of, actually we have several, we have all of these cards actually are really contingent and could potentially lean us in a variety of directions based on future picks. So Illusionist can be particularly good with, and is specifically designed for cards that have good enter the battlefield effects. Of course, we have 0 of those right now. But you could speculate and say, well, we're going to keep our eye out for things that have ETB effects, particularly ones that are good. A Stonehawk Detachment, we know the Snowhawk Detachment, you know, a card like Camlord Sentinel already will make that a little bit better. And then a Cunning Ally obviously cares about having more blue cards in your deck. The more you have, the more likely you're going to get a free Firebolt. I actually think this is a pretty interesting decision. Which way are you leaning based on these? Well, obviously one being cheaper on the curve than the other two.
Yeah, the last point you made is actually, I think, what puts us in favor of the Cunning Ally. So with all of these, they're all contingent cards, but Cunning Ally is, of the choices, the one that's the best if things don't go your way. So like a 3/3 for 5, or, you know, even if it's a 3/3 for 5 and you do get to cycle something, but it's, you know, lackluster, it's probably still not nearly as good as just a vanilla 3/3 for 3.
For sure.
And even if we draft all willpower cards, there's always still that small chance that we hit the one Camlorn, right?
Yep.
Whereas with Winterhold Illusionist, there's that chance that we just find nothing that's really worth our time.
And then we just way overpaid for basically a 3/3 that does stone nothing else.
Right. So last pick, right? If we were later on, then Winterhold might be the for sure pick. But I think here we got to go with Ally because it hurts us the least if things don't go our way.
I agree. And also, by the way, again, like part of the thing in picks is as you're going along, you will see me, particularly as we get further. Right now it's easy. I have 2. But as you go along, I will be looking at 2 cards that are equivalent, right? If you look at a scale of 1 to 10 and you have 2 6s, either card is just as good. Maybe they're the same spot on the curve. You know, a Cunning Ally will push you to take a blue one over a yellow one if there's no other determining factors or no other synergies you got to worry about. Okay, so first decision point here, are you going to pay a lot for removal that'll also buff a bunch of stuff, or I don't know whether or not I'm bothering with a Mistveil Enchanter. I mean, a 2/2 with Ward for 4 is just strictly worse than a lot of other stuff that you can get at that slot. Bardaguar, I love the ability to give something guard, particularly when I can throw it on a creature my opponent has that I want to get to where I can kill it because it's hiding behind something. Where are you right now on Sanctuary Raid? A bigger, stone anything dies, and you can buff creatures at the same time versus a Bardaguar, or maybe you like the Enchanter.
Well, so I don't like the Enchanter right now. This one is really one of those cards that depends on what you've drafted. The 2/2 body, if it doesn't, you know, a 2/2 Ward for 4 is really, really lackluster. And if we don't find other stuff with Ward, he's just not going to have a good time.
Nope.
So,
I mean, there's 2 Magicka cards that just say 2/2 with Ward. Like, you're way overpaying for a Enchanter and the potential of having some upside.
Yeah, so for me, this is certainly an interesting decision. I do like the Guar. And I obviously like bodies because, you know, bodies are what win games. And having, again, just a vanilla 3/3 for 3 isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, and this might shock some people, I think Sanctuary Raid is a better pick this early.
I don't think that's shocking at all. Like, I think from a tempo standpoint, like having, you know, worst case scenario, like one other creature in a lane and getting rid of literally any card in the game, except for a couple that you can't target with actions, and being able to buff a creature. And, you know, sometimes you get 2 and sometimes you get 3. And again, as Charmer said, we are in yellow. We haven't seen any yet, but we are looking for token strategies where we can buff not just one card, but, you know, be spitting out multiple creatures with a single card. So I lean towards Sanctuary Raid here as well. Even though I like the effect on Bardaguar, neither of them syncs well with Cunning Ally, so there's no decision there. Curve-wise, we're not in a place where we really have to be taking low-curve stuff this early. So I think I just would go for big removal.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm probably going to slaughter this name, so I apologize. But Gotoku in chat just said something that I was actually going to say when you were finishing your piece, which is that the reason I think you picked Sanctuary Raid is I'm an old, Magic the Gathering player, like I'm sure a lot of our card folks here are, and there's a acronym called BREAD that exists in that, and
Yep.
it's bombs, removal, evasion, aggro, and then duds. And so if we don't have a bomb choice, but we have removal, then you pick the removal. It gives you answers. It lets you, respond even if things are going horribly. So I think that, following that acronym is going to do us some justice here.
Yeah, and it's not that it's very dangerous. Like, there's a point in Magic where bread is a very helpful signpost, guidepost. And then there's a point you realize, well, that's a good sort of starting point, but then you need to be willing to move off of that when the time is right. But I will say that the only thing better than removal is removal that can also just go to face sometimes sometimes your own. I'm leery about picking Lightning Bolt and once again Lightning Bolting my own face on stream for everybody to see. Pack Wolf is exactly the kind of card we were talking about before, particularly with Chaos Arena, that could be good. But is there any universe really in which we're taking a Pack Wolf over a Lightning Bolt at this point?
I don't think that we can. Pack Wolf, again, has some great synergies, but there's no guarantee that we're going to find those synergies. That's the beauty about Chaos Arena, right? Like, we're going to try to pick things that will play into them, but we can't go all in on that strategy. You can go all in on Lightning Bolt. Like, I'm not unhappy if I draft 10 of them.
Right.
It's removal, but then, so in this game, there's not a lot of what you would call evasion, right?
Yep.
Blood Dragon kind of does it, but Reach is this game's version of evasion, essentially. So things like charge, things like direct damage. This feels two of those. I think you're right on the money with that. Okay,
interesting pick here. So we've got Mage's Trick, which is a split card. So you will only see this when you're drafting Mage. It's a blue and yellow. So this is the only deck that you actually can see this card and pick it. Deal 1, gain 1. Okay, that's irrelevant. The deal 1 is very relevant, as is the cantrip ability, the ability to draw a card for playing it. So it replaces itself in terms of keeping your hand full with stuff to do. The 1 damage can knock wards off, it can finish off a creature, it can do all kinds of stuff. Royal Sage can be very, very good if you're in a deck that's established some tempo and you sort of gotten on the front foot early and can drop this and maybe turn a bunch of those tokens into things that have, ward or drain or lethal. Or you've got a 4/4 for 5, which is overpaying a little bit, but nerfing everything -1, -0 can be pretty relevant. What say ye, sir?
This might be the toughest decision that we've made so far. So Mage's Trick, in theory, can be removal, and the cantrip is obviously nice, but the 1 damage is, like, not that great.
I mean, if you get a Bog Lurker with it that's hiding over there and threatening to swing with 9 in the Shadow Lane, you feel pretty good. But, yeah, it's not like... the funny thing is, you would love to have this card in other classes that could take advantage. Like, if you could play this and then also play green where you're using Leaf Lurker and finish off to damage something and then kill a creature that's damaged, it's great, but that ain't happening with a split card. So, again, the Royal Sage basically is just a 4/4 for 4. Like... you either have to really make sure you're building it to get that added benefit, or this all just says stone nothing. At least Scourge is always giving you this ability no matter whether you're ahead or behind.
Well, it's interesting because one is proactive and one is reactive. Because the Scourge, if you are ahead, there's a strong chance where you don't get to make use of the summon. If you're taking control of the field lane and you're being proactive, there's a chance then that just is a 4/4 for 5. So one is like planning on being behind, and then Royal Sage has the potential to be a bomb. So if you high roll and you get a couple of wards, I've certainly won a number of games by my Royal Sage giving it self-charge. It can really put away a game.
Backbreaking, for sure.
So,
and then again in Chaos Arena, where you have to count on, you could have crazy games where you play this and you play it in the lane. I can't remember what the lane condition is, Charmer, where when you play a creature in that lane, all other creatures in that lane gain its keywords. And so Royal Sage gets the keyword off of its own ability, and then everything else also gets it, and you just get these breaking, like everything just got 2 keywords and GG.
Yeah. So if it was me personally...
Well, it is you personally, because I'm blaming you for every loss.
That's fine. So for me, I really do like the Scourge, but I think that the pick is Sage. And
I would agree.
The reason there is because, 1, it's less punishing if things don't go your way, just like the previous pick. But 2, we've already picked 1 Cunning Ally. And by staying with Intelligence, we're just increasing our odds of getting that Firebolt. And Cunning Ally is huge.
Yep. So here we either get a 5/2 for 3, which, you know, this is the sort of card that newer players will look at and go, wow, 5 power, I can look at all the damage that I can do. And you know what? Sometimes you play this, you know, in a shadow lane, and you get to pick out, you know, some giant 7-drop that they played with 5 toughness, and good for you. But it also just dies to basically everything. Not the kind of card I'm usually inclined to draft. And again, because we're in Arena, stuff like this that's gonna get better as we play actions, and already 3 of our 6 cards are actions, and spitting out 1/1s is attractive. And I'm also a much bigger fan of Healing Potion in Arena, just because off of the Prophecy sometimes that can be a particularly, like, it can be a terrible top deck, but it can also be great when you hit Prophecy. Are we just taking the Justicar here?
I think just because it's Chaos Arena that the Thalmor is the pick. We're trying to kind of emphasize our token strategy. We do already have 3 actions, which is far more than I would have expected to have here. So we've got a healthy number of triggers. I'm like you. I actually don't mind running, you know, 1 Healing Potion or so in Arena, because the Prophecy can be kind of a big deal. I will say, if this wasn't Chaos Arena, I would actually I would have considered taking the Vigilant, just because of the Cunning Ally synergy, and the stats are much better. But because it's Chaos Arena and we want to emphasize bodies almost over everything else, I think that the Thalmor is better.
Done. Well, we can decide to get wacky and take our Heroic Rebirth and start taking cards that we don't want and turning them into random legends.
Yeah, no, this isn't wacky at all, Pete. That's fantastic. Heroic Rebirth is,
you know what, though,
best in Arena, in my opinion.
You think so? See, here's the thing, though. Like, the number of times that you put this in your hand, you put this out on turn 3, and you target something in your hand, and you get, you know, great, I have a 12-drop. Like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything with that card anytime soon, and so now, like, am I Heroic Rebirthing that card again? Like, I just spent my entire turn 3, instead of building out my board with something like a Thalmor, Justicar, Cunning Ally. Like, it does nothing to affect the battlefield on the turn that it hits. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely a tempo loss when you play it. So in those instances, I would almost say that unless you have nothing else to do, you wouldn't be playing this on turn 3. Typically, where I'm using this in Arena is after you've kind of fought for the field and both players are down to just a couple of cards in hand, where I can play the Rebirth and then hope that, you know, I'm getting, you know, one of those 4 or 5-drop legends to kind of upgrade.
Okay, so
I
when
don't
you
usually play this on curve.
Well, you're saying you're basically evaluating this almost as if Heroic Rebirth says 6 or 7, where, like, you're not even thinking about playing it on 3. Like, you're just going to evaluate it as if all 3 of these say, hey, I cost 6. And in that case, you like a Heroic Rebirth more than the Commander. Orrery is just not a card that I'm going to play. So
yeah, Orrery's definitely out. But yeah, I would evaluate this as costing 6 or 7, like the Commander, like at a minimum, because again, unless you have nothing else to play for that turn, you're probably not going to play the Rebirth right away.
Okay.
And the Commander, while it does give the rest of your creatures in your deck +1/+1, it doesn't do anything to help you immediately, whereas on turn 6, on turn 7, when you're playing that Rebirth, you have the chance of potentially playing one of those strong cards right away. And then on the next turn, if you draw something else that's lackluster, like let's say you draw the Thalmor, right?
Yep.
Commander's just going to make your Thalmor be a 2/4, which isn't that great on like turn 7 or 8. But the Rebirth could potentially change that into, Tazcad or something, right?
I was about to say Pack Daddy, so okay, we're thinking the same thing. Let's live the Pack Daddy dream. Okay. Well, dragon-wise, we're pretty light, but we also don't have very brilliant targets for Soul Shift right now. Like, we'd love a Brutal Ashlander or some more token stuff. I mean, I guess the 1/1s that the Justicar can spit out, and the fact that it's a little bit more synergy with Ally, like maybe you take a Soul Split. I don't think Hornhelmed is a card really worth taking. I do like Midnight Snack, although obviously it gets far better with dragons, of which we have 0. Where are you?
So actually, first let me start by saying I think that the pick is Midnight Snack. Sorry, my brain was going faster than my mouth.
Okay.
But that being said, don't sleep on Hornhelm in the future. It's better
Okay.
than it looks. It's
Why?
like a neutral. It's like a neutral that's. It's like Battle Rage Orc. So Battle Rage Orc gives you 2/3 stats that can attack right away.
Yep.
Right? Hornhelm does the same thing. It just requires a creature to be in play. But if you're trying to use it to trade and advance your board, it ends up being, at least in my experience, it's been better than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
However, Snack is a 2-drop, and we don't have any yet, and we need some early game and some
it's
aggressiveness.
a prophecy. Yep.
And it's a prophecy, and it's a prophecy guard. And so for all of those reasons, I think that the pick right now is probably the Snack.
Somebody asked, you have no last gas, why in the world would you pick it? Well, the reason you would pick it is if you're doing token strategies and you can, play a scouting patrol and then turn one of those 1/1s into 2 3/2s, like that's not a bad, you are essentially getting a 2-for-1, right? You're getting 2 cards on the battlefield for 1, and you're only sacrificing a token. So you don't just need last gas to use Soul Split. If you're getting things that are spitting out little utility cards like this Justicar, it's not a bad card to put in. You don't just need. Would you agree with that, by the way?
Yeah, and actually for me, Soul Split's one of those like interesting cards because it does also trigger like last gasp effects and things like that, so that sometimes kind of go unnoticed. But if we had better early game, if we had a host of 2-drops or things that made more tokens already, then I would have been more excited about it.
Speaking of tokens.
Yeah, speaking of tokens, we had the jackpot.
I mean, are we even talking about these other cards, or is it just, hey, we talked about tokens, we're taking Imperial Reinforcements?
So, I mean, I guess I'll do like the quick one for potential new players, right? The shell armor is okay, but it's not that great. 3/3 stats for 4 isn't good, even if you think about the pseudo charge that items have. Revealing the Unseen is a fantastic pick that can sometimes just kind of high roll you in certain arena games, and because of the Cunning Ally, it would certainly help there. However, this is Chaos Arena. And in Chaos Arena, tokens are king because of the different lane effects, and Imperial Reinforcements is fantastic.
God help our opponent if we have an empty zoo lane and
Yes.
we drop that on turn 4. You should just snap concede.
Yeah, or not even the zoo lane, but there's sometimes in Chaos Arena lanes where they're just bigger and smaller, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a lane that has 6 spots instead of 4, and so you get a 6/6 worth of stats for 4.
4.
Like, there's so many good uses for that card. There's clearly like no better pick you can make than Imperial Reinforcements here.
Which we shall do. Okay. Veteran Enforcer, so you mentioned before, we are light on the 2. We're 10 picks in, and we've only got 1. So right now, I'm kind of looking at Veteran Enforcer and Justicar. Now again, Justicar, we've got almost half of our deck is actions, and so we can, I mean, a turn 3 Justicar into a turn 4 Imperial Reinforcements in the other lane is not a bad curve.
It's not a bad curve, but
how worried are you? Yeah, how worried are we about? Hey, I want a lot more things to do reliably on turn 2 than the 1 that I currently have.
Yeah, for me, I think that we need some 2-drops. Like the Thalmor is good, and it's certainly what we're working toward. But we're now about a third of the way through our deck, and we only have one 2-drop.
Done.
Missing that 2-drop is a big deal. It's also an intelligence card, so even though it's vanilla, it does help fuel the Cunning Ally we've drafted.
Well, here's another 2-drop. Here's the Horker.
Oh, how family friendly do I want to be right now? I love Raging Horker.
And it works well with armor that we could have taken or potentially take down the road. Anytime you throw armor on it, it just gets better and better.
I mean, I love the Horker for a lot of personal reasons. I have a hard time justifying picking him over the Mage's trick, though.
Oh, you don't? We're doing a stream. This is for fun. We're not trying to win like the World Championship.
I am. I'm not invited back if we don't.
Oh, I'm just kidding. So do you take Horker or Mage's trick here? Because I'm not taking a Hive Warrior.
Yeah, no, Hive Warrior is definitely not the pick. Mage's trick is technically removal. It is a blue card, but we are in need of two. We are in need of 2 drops.
Horker.
I think
it makes you happy.
Take the Horker.
We're taking the Horker. It makes you happy. All right. So here, I think this for me is pretty easy. I don't think we have a Warcry deck. I think we need a much quicker, faster start. A lot more tokens than we've gotten, and I still don't think Fate Weaver is particularly good with the prophecies that we've gotten. I'm actually inclined to take Baron of Tyr because of the Cunning Ally, and trying to stack up more blue creatures where this makes everything even better.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay, that was a second.
So Fate Weaver is not as bad as it sounds, just because we have already drafted like a quarter of our deck is Prophecy.
2.
I mean, so far,
1.
right? We would have to keep up that pace, but we've got Lightning Bolt, Midnight Snack, and Camlorn Sentinel out of like the 12 cards we've picked, right? So unless I'm bad at math, 3 out of 12 is 25% of our deck.
Something like that. I didn't go to math college.
Yeah, I mean.
But again, it's still a 3/3 cantrip, and then 25% of the time, maybe you're going to get to play it for free.
Right, but it's adding to our prophecy count, that and it also adds to our ally count. So, I mean, it's definitely between the Fate Weaver and the Baron.
Yep. Okay. Well, what would you rather do? I'll defer to you.
So personally, I still think Fate Weaver is the pick, because even though we've got some intelligence cards, one of them is also Lightning Bolt. So at this point, Baron interacts with 4 other cards we've drafted. Fate Weaver interacts with 3 other cards we've drafted, but the Fate Weaver tempo plays are, I think, a bigger swing.
I guess I'm thinking, like, right now, of our 7 creatures, more than half of them are blue, which means that more than half of the stuff that we're playing, and again, it's not just in that lane, it's all blue creatures, we could potentially be buffing. So you make your Sentinel bigger, your Red Enforcer bigger. All right, I usually, my thing is, if I'm looking for something bigger, if I'm paying 6 or 7 or more, I'm looking for something that when I play it is going to help take over the game. And I just find that the sort of hit or miss of the Fate Weaver is a little bit more dice rolly than I like. But if you're a believer, I will.
I mean, we can play it safe and take the Baron. I'm not against either one. I think that they're both, in all honesty, about.
I'm going to take the Weaver and see how it plays out.
In terms of power level, I'm the kind of guy that always doubles his 11s. You know.
All right. Well, the question here is, how much do you like Grizzly Gourmet, and do you like it more than Mage's Trick?
I kind of love the Gourmet.
I mean, again, there are plenty of times where it just does stone nothing.
It might do nothing, but the times it does something is great, and it's still a body even if it does nothing. But the other thing to remember about summon effects is specifically, like if we do find that zoo lane, for example, the summon effect goes off before the change.
Yep. So
like in a zoo lane, you might, nuke somebody's creature into a sweet roll and then get way more than the 2/1 body out of it.
So you like it more than the Mage's Trick. This game is dying for us to take a Mage's Trick, and so far we're about to go 0 for 3 on taking him.
I mean, I do like Mage's Trick too, but I love the
Gourmet. You watch. I'm taking the Gourmet. We're going to end up in at least one game where we're sitting here talking about, damn, wish we had taken at least one of those.
Well, they'll be at 1 health.
Yeah.
They'll be at 1 health, and we'll be like, well, if we could top deck a Mage's Trick.
Okay, well, we'd like to stay blue, but I think I'm just taking a 4/4 guard over a 2/2 ward that might be bigger. Any disagreement?
Not at all. You take the dragon. It's the best of these options by far.
Well, there's a good soul split target in Balmora Spymaster, which is also blue. We have a 2-drop, which is a 1/1, and then draw a random item for your deck, of which we have 0. Or a Tower Alchemist, which I've played, but only when forced to.
Yeah.
Again, one of the things I like about Arena is this, which is, you know what, in general, kind of don't want to take any of these. But, like, well, if you're on the play and you Tower Alchemist out on turn 2 and you can keep this alive, like, you can get a few more uses out of some stuff if we... What do you think? If we end up drawing a support that does something like our Heroic Rebirth.
What I think is, I wish we would have taken the Baron now that we got shown a Spymaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're gonna have to live with that choice, CHARM3R.
Yeah, I do have to now. The Spymaster, I think, still ends up being our pick, even with almost no synergies, because we have no items and we have no supports, so we have even less synergy with those two. Worst case scenario, we can play a Spymaster and then flood our lane to like play a creature and sacrifice him.
Yep.
Right. That's like a built-in game mechanic.
I'm with that. And again, there's plenty of times, to your point, where just throwing a creature of any kind in a lane is going to be a thing we want to do, and doing that for less seems better than spending more.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we have our first shout. We got a Fire Breath, 3 damage or 3 magic at deal 2. For 1 more, we can Dragon's Fury and deal 3 or potentially 6. If we manage to get out our one and only dragon, which we just took. Or we can go and full in on some planned Sanctuary Raid. I'm leaning towards cheap removal, and I think I would probably take the Fury over the Fire Breath, but I'm curious what you think.
So, I mean, it's definitely going to be one of the cheaper ones. I don't think we need a second raid.
I don't think so either. Particularly because the more of those that you take, the less likely you are to have the creatures that you want to then get the benefit off of the Sanctuary Raid. You're gonna want some critical mass of creatures in a lane to really take advantage of that. So do you go cheaper and only deal 2 and speculate on getting more of these, or do you pay 1 more for a bit more damage that's going to hit more things? Because again, the second part of this, I'm really not paying attention to. It's really, are we dealing 2 for 3 or 3 for 4?
So for me, I think that the pick is, it's probably Dragon's Fury. I'm not happy with either of them. Let's be honest, but I think that it's the Dragon's Fury because Dragon's Fury is one with potential upside that we've already drafted. We do at least have 1 dragon. Fire Breath is potential upside with future draft picks that we're not guaranteed.
Yep.
So,
and you know, version 2 of this is definitely better. I mean, it's a strictly better lightning bolt if you're hitting a creature, and it obviously doesn't go to face. So you think Fury though just will pay a little bit more to do a little bit more? It's not an easy pick. I can make very good arguments for either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's probably the Fury here.
Fury it is. Moving on. Well, so again, I could make cases for either. I like Priest of the Moon because, you know, we talked before about you like having at least, you know, you'll take 1 healing potion. Priest of the Moon, Prophecy, you do gain 2. I mean, it is just a 2/2 for 2, but that's not embarrassing. I'd much rather, I think, have a 2/2 for 2 than an 0/4. I think Embassy Guard is much better in decks that are playing items and buffing it up. Or do we don't have any 5-drops. I think this card is, like, okay. I mean, it's colorless, so those tend not to be, like, super overpowered card because you're getting them for free in any deck. Like,
I mean, I actually am a big fan of the Dreg.
Are you?
But
you're worried about our 2-spot.
I'm worried about our 2-drops. We really kind of need to help out our curve.
Priest of the Moons it is.
I think that we have to take that here, but don't sleep on the Dreg in future drafts if you've got
no,
room at the top.
again, depending on what it's up against, I will take it because you will reliably, you know, usually draw at least 1 card off of it because it does have a fairly big butt. It can run into any number of guards, do some damage, and draw your card off of it. Okay, more pastries?
Yeah, I think that you go more pastries because, again, unlike Aerostorm, you at least get a body if something goes wrong.
Yep.
And Well, I do kind of like the Renegade. We need cheaper guys at this point. Like
Yep.
we've got a healthy number of
We're pretty
4
good
drops.
at 4-drops. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Pastries. Okay, I actually don't. Well, I mean, my inclination is it's the Ward Crafter.
I think that I agree with that 100%.
I mean, it's a 2-drop. It gives Ward. We have a few guards, but not enough really to do this. I mean, it does spit out a token, and sometimes like this is one of the few cards in the game that does a thing that can be really handy when you need it, which is somebody gets a support. But it's also arena. Like what sometimes you just get a 3/4 for 4, and this always gives Ward when it hits. And again,
Ward.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Wardcrafter is just always good. Like it's good on curve. It's good late when you need it for combat tricks.
Yep.
I mean, there's a reason it's like a staple in constructed play. It's that good.
The question is, if you liked 1 Dragon's Fury, how much do you like 2 Dragon's Furies over a 3/3 that gains us 3?
For me, I think the body is better. I don't think that stacking up on the Furies is like worth it.
Okay.
It's a body with prophecy. It does give us a source of life gain. It's again one of those prophecy guards that would potentially save us. We do have the Fate Weaver that we opted for over the Baron, so increasing our Fate Weaver trigger count is
so stated
not
differently.
a bad thing.
You're trying to cover your ass a little bit more with that Fate Weaver.
Yeah, a little bit,
That's fine. Okay, well, we could cover it even more with one of these 2 cards, both of which I think are probably the pick, although I do love a Tusk Bristleback. 5/5 for 5 is can tussle with stuff, but I'm inclined just to take Lightning Bolt here.
Yeah, you always take Lightning Bolt. Like, I can't think of a scenario where you don't draft Lightning Bolt.
More removal, crappy item, or a potential game breaker with Golden Saint?
Oh, I mean, I don't think we take the item here. So for me, it's between Devourer and Golden Saint. The question that we have to answer, so if we think back to that bread acronym we talked about earlier, we have to ask ourselves if Golden Saint is enough of a bomb to be considered a bomb that you take over removal.
I think the answer to that is it definitely can be. Even more, I think, than the Royal Sage before.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
I mean, 2 8/8s, 8/8 of stats, 4 and 4 in each lane, both with guard, can be pretty backbreaking. It always feels good when you get this off with the relevant ability. If not, paying 6 for a 4/4 is feel bad.
Yeah, it's definitely feel bad.
But look, we have a Devour, 2 Lightning Bolts. We got a Sanctuary Raid. Like, it's not like we have, if we didn't have as much removal, the Fury, I'd be more inclined to take it. But again, we've got 7 at the 4. We don't have as much late. I think I'm inclined to take the Golden Saint. But well, I could see both arguments.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a couple of arguments for Golden Saint. Like, beyond that, we already have a decent amount of removal. We also have a decent amount of life gain to help us keep the health lead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that makes another body in the other lane. So as we think about Chaos Arena and all the reasons we were looking for tokens,
yep.
That's another potential trigger. So
I
really feel like it's Saint.
Yeah, me too. All right. Ooh, good stuff. And the question is, what of the good stuff do you want? So 5/5 for 5 and draw a random action from your discard pile, and your actions cost 1 less seems really good in our deck.
Seems really good all of the time.
Yeah, and like of these, like stealing an enemy creature when you're on the wrong side of it is like one of the worst feelings ever, because you play around a lot of things. You just tend not to think about like, hey, what if in this scenario all of a sudden not only do I have this creature, but it's on the other side of the board. But that's also if you live long enough to get to 11. This for 5 and getting an action back. So it's not just a cantrip, but you're not just drawing a card, you're getting an action back that you've already played, and you're making it cheaper. Right? Are we even talking about this anymore, or am I just taking art?
Yeah, I mean, I would give an honorable mention to Bringer because it has the potential to high roll and just win you a game, and that's kind of a big deal. But
it can also brick.
For it. Yeah, it can brick hard. And Iron,
you get a mud
Iron
crab.
has so much going for it. We have 2 lightning bolts already.
Yeah.
We've got some other high quality actions. You know, if
I
we
want
get
to live
something
the
like,
dream.
Yeah.
I want to live the dream of lightning bolt. Next turn, play this, get my lightning bolt back.
Yeah, I think we have to go with Iron here.
So the question is, do we take the prophecy off of our prophecy combo, or do we Crystal Tower Crafter with only 6 actions in our mage deck?
In this instance, I think we still take the prophecy. I think we have enough to potentially fuel Crystal Tower, but the problem with Crystal Tower is if we don't just have any of those readily available, it's a really feels bad play. A 1/1 for 2 is not that great if it doesn't do anything when it enters play.
Yep.
The Cleric, not only does it have prophecy, but that +0/+2 is a combat trick that we can use to potentially get a surprise trade, and I'm a big fan of it.
Yep. Okay. Well, yet another Sanctuary raid, a 3/5 guard that may or may not get better. We don't have a ton of those. We've got the Midnight Snack, we've got our Sentinel, we got our Golden Saint, and our Knight of the Hour. So, like, maybe. Or do we just fill the 2-drop with something that might also give us a card? Now, let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that'll just do it all by itself. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10.
Yeah, we got a fair number of ways to trigger the Priest. I mean, when you consider that our Thalmor can make tokens, the reinforcements would trigger it on its own. Golden Saint, if it had the joy of triggering, will trigger it on its own.
Yep.
I think that the pick here is between the Priest and a second Sanctuary raid.
Yep.
But I'm a big fan of making sure that you have something to do in the early turns, and Priest is something that has the potential to cycle.
Yep.
So I think that the pick is probably Priest here.
I can live with that. Corsair. I admit I sleep on this card plenty. I don't like relying on my opponent drafting a good deck, although there's plenty of good arena players, but getting a 2/2 for 4 and then getting 3 random cards, I'm not sure. But I do like the Scourge.
Yeah. See, the thing about Pickpocket is that it's not just that like you get a random card. You do get shown 3. So it allows you to be versatile. You know, if you don't really need something that's an answer right away, then you can just take whatever the greediest pick is, right? But if you need an answer and you get shown, you know, your opponent's Firebolt or something, then you just found your answer.
Yep.
It can maybe find that Ungolem that your opponent was lucky enough to draft. Like, I'm a big fan of the Pickpocket in general. I really am.
So the Pickpocket would be your pick here over the Ship or the Scourge?
In my opinion, yeah.
If you don't
take the Scourge,
if you don't take the Pickpocket, are you taking the Ship or the Scourge? Do you care about getting daggers every time, or?
If it was me, I would take the Corsair ship second, and the reasoning behind that is because we have so many things that would benefit greatly. So, like, if you have a Corsair ship and then you play your Imperial reinforcements,
you get a bunch of 2/1s, and
yeah. You know, that goes from a 4 forest stats to an 8 forest stats.
All right, I'm deferring to you. I'm going to go Pickpocket.
Yeah, I like the Pickpocket a lot.
I'm here to learn. Okay, another piece of removal, a 1/5 for 2, which I'm not all that excited about, or a Ghostly Lookout, which again we I think still only have 1, right?
Well, so this is an interesting thing in that. While Dragon's Fury is another removal, the Ghostly Lookout technically helps our curve out. So while we won't likely get many uses out of the ward, it's still a 4/2 for 3. And the 4 attack is a big deal because it lets you potentially trade up into other people.
Yep. But we agree, like 1/5, even though it's a 2-drop, we're just not considering it. So you're thinking one of these two, and you think we're good enough on removal that we go a little lower on the curve.
Yeah, I think so. That's a tough call. I mean, the Dragon's Fury is yet another target that Iron can bring back, so that's also potentially something to consider there. But I just really feel like at this point, making sure we have enough bodies
At
is
each
a
spot.
big deal.
Sure. Well, here's a body. You want a mud crab?
I mean, is it?
You don't really. We're taking the pack wolf here, right? It's right in the spot in the curve where we want it. It's going to spit out something in each lane.
Yeah, we take the pack wolf.
I mean, the only thing is you could try and live Magical Christmas Land and take the Illusionist, hoping to flicker your Aryan, but come on. It's on curve. It's 2-2 and a 1-1. We're fine with it, right? Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
All right.
I w
Do you want a Devour, do you want a Prophecy, or do you want a 2-drop that's going to buff everything going forward?
I think here you have to take the Trainer. I love Devour, and the Scholar is better than it looks oftentimes, but the Trainer is so good. It interacts with all of our token generators. The 3 health means it's pretty resilient, even more so in Arena. So I don't think you can turn the Trainer down.
I mean, there's very few scenarios in which I ever would. Like if you put a Lightning Bolt next to it, I'm spending a long time staring at those two because this card, whenever it hits the battlefield, just feels like it's a, I must deal with that card or else.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I would agree, yeah.
There's a deck, kids. So our curve is pretty reasonable. We have a healthy amount of removal. Not insane. We didn't get any piercing javelins, which with our prophecy synergy off the Fate Weaver would have been nice. But, you know, Cunning Ally is, maybe we'll get lucky and get it half the time. But reasonable curve. Got a few synergies to look for.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some chaos?
Yeah. I'm excited to see some of the special lanes that we get for the tokens we tried to target.
Well, let's see what it starts us off with. Creatures with 2 or less, so we got a Fountain Lane, and creatures with Breakthrough. Well, we definitely have some cards that can take advantage of Fountain. I don't know how much we have that cares about getting Breakthrough.
Yeah, we're likely going to be living in that Fountain Lane.
All right, so we have the ring, so we're on the draw. We got a Devour, a Priest, and a Lightning Bolt.
I like having the 2-drop. I like having the removal. As good as Bolt is, I think that we ship it back because getting it off of Prophecy is better.
I do too. I think we keep the Devour but throw the Lightning Bolt back.
Yep. Devour is extra good in this one because if we're going to fight for control of that Fountain Lane, it doesn't care about Ward.
Remember we said we can live Magical Christmas Land? Like, Devour into Aryan doesn't sound too terrible. All right, so the question is, on the draw with nothing going on, do we go ahead and run the Priest of the Moons out, or do we save it so we can ramp out some other stuff quicker?
I honestly think that we run it out. I mean, you look at what our hand is.
I was only thinking, like, well, you can make the argument to pass here and then use it the next 3 turns. So you're doing Ally on 2, Devour on 3, and Aryan on 4. But the Devour, you might not even hit, have any target. You probably will.
It's also just, in my opinion, it's really good to have the initiative, right? So by placing the first body, we get the ability to, make him respond to us, and I prefer that. So
well, a 2/2 with Ward that gained us 2, like if you're on the Golden Saint plan, is a pretty good start, right?
Yep.
Gain a little health. Get a 2/2. Get down tonight. All right. So, green-purple. I'm thinking right now that rather than running out the Cunning Ally like I was thinking, I like the Camlorn Sentinel better here because we get the Ward. I feel like we're going to see a Guard next turn. And, if he plays a Fighters Guild recruit, I'd much rather have a Sentinel out than a...
Yeah, I think Sentinel's definitely the play over Ally because then on the following turn, if we have to Devour, we can, or we can Cunning Ally to see if we get the trigger and then save our ring charge, right? So...
There it is.
It gives us a more flexible start.
Sweet roll? It'd be a warded sweet roll, I want to point out.
Hey. It's a worded sweet roll, but we wouldn't have to attack it. Yeah, I think that the Gourmet's the play here, because that lets us push through 4 damage. And it gives the Gourmet ward. We're going to be obviously giving him a bunch of cards, but we're going to have an army of warded creatures that he's going to have to fight back from, so...
Oh, it's not a creature, so it doesn't get the ward. Sorry. Right, it's a pastry, not a creature. I'm stupid.
I think it doesn't get the word because it's not technically entering play. It's a transform effect.
Yeah, but it's also not a creature, and this specifically says creatures with power 2 or less.
Oh, it's a creature. It can attack.
Oh, you're right. It can. A sword. The pastry
give it a sword. I'm not ashamed to admit.
So it wasn't right. It wasn't considered summon. It's because we changed it.
Right. It's the transform effect. It's just like if you were to mummify something, the mummy wouldn't get a ward in that lane either.
You know what Devour doesn't kill? Big bears.
Yeah, doesn't kill 5-6 bears.
Doesn't kill bears at all. Like not even a little bit. So right. I think first we just swing with everything, put them to 18.
Yep, we definitely want to attack before we make any decisions.
He doesn't hit any prophecies. So we can... Well, I think maybe we...
So there's a lot of things that we can do, but
of the two, I'm thinking it's these two, right? Like I don't think I'm spending the ring to run Aryan out yet.
Yeah, we don't want to play Iron because we're not getting anything from her summon effect, and even though it's a more aggressive play, I think we have enough.
So I'm thinking ally
on the board. So it's interesting. I think it's actually the Thalmar.
And to the left, right? So that it gets ward, and then if it spits out 1/1s on the other side?
Right. I think that that's totally the way to go.
Okay. Presumably, fairly soon, we're going to get a Devour target here. So we can Devour, spit out a token. Next turn, we can play Aryan, get our Devour back, kill something else.
Yeah. That's the hope, anyway.
That is the hope. Or everything he has in his hand is bigger than 4, and we don't do any of that. By the way,
I mean,
I'm totally fine with this because I'm fine with him just spending a turn trying not to take damage, and I lose nothing.
All right. So now, before we attack, I think we definitely want to play our ally. Because if we find a Firebolt, then that's just one less creature that we have to give up ward on.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to play Devour this turn. We probably don't want to play Iron with no targets.
Well, and if we do that and we find a Firebolt, then we can also get a 1/1 off of that. Right.
Yep.
All right. So swing with the Moon and the Gourmet, leaving the ward on our guard.
Yep. I think that is the correct path.
Firebolt. Face. And then I am going to go ahead and attack here and break his rune. And I think I'm going to Balmor Spymaster to the right. Because next, if I need
I'm okay with the Spymaster.
Because if I need to, if I get one more, like if I Devour, then I'm to the point of being able to sack this to play another creature and... well, I can go face here? Or do we kill it? I wonder if we just go face. Either way, I get it back for free. Why don't I just use it here and then just get it back for free next turn?
Yeah, I would consider just killing the bear, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to pass up keeping control of the board. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, that's annoying. So, what's our line here? I'm thinking we Devour, and we Devour this Courier, which is going to be more difficult for us to get rid of than the Tree Minder. We Devour, kill this. We do the Moon and this guy, We swing for 4, 5, 6, put him to 9.
Yeah, I would say that that is entirely acceptable.
Wow, I just got a lot more sound, Joe. What did you do?
Oh, it's probably on my end. Hold on.
No, it's magnificent. Now I feel like I'm right there on the battlefield with everybody. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Like, I got lethal next turn. I can drop this, get rid of my Balmoras. Oh, I guess I can't because then it has nowhere to summon the thing.
I turned on my game sounds, and you're probably hearing it through my headphones now. I was like, I'm not hearing anything, and it's so weird.
Yeah, so, I mean, we clearly have enough to lethal. I can always orient and get back my Lightning Bolt, which will, I won't be able to cast because I'm only on 7, but I can cast it cheap next turn. Yeah, that's not going to save you. Although, annoyingly, like, I can't... If I get this, I'm at 7. All right, well.
All right, so this is one of those great times where we have a number of different choices that we can make. But what I think that we want to do is probably make some trades on the right to at least get through the guard. And along the way, even though we're going to lose some guys, that'll free up space so that if we pickpocket on the right, the creature made from the Spymaster will then move to the left. So if we do that before we attack, we can get some use out of that Balmora Spymaster trigger.
So... what's the order here, then?
So for me, I think the order is you would attack with the Thalmar first to break the ward.
Over on the left, you mean?
Yep, on the left, just because that'll still survive. Then you can attack with your 2/4 because that's going to survive. And then you can attack with either one of the 2/1s.
Yeah.
So now you've freed that up. Now I would play Pickpocket on the right and sacrifice your Spymaster.
Oh, so it'll use the space on the left.
Correct, because otherwise we wouldn't have had a spot. See, now we got Wisp Mother, which is kind of fantastic.
Do we Giant Snake it?
Sorry, I guess on Spectate I'm not able to see... Oh, yeah, I guess on the stream it was showing, but on Spectate it doesn't show me what was presented. Giant Snake is definitely the pick there, though, out of what I...
Well, I didn't get it. It picked the Dreg Shell armor
the
for
armor.
me.
Yeah, that's my bad.
That's all right. We've just been destroyed by deadly sweet rolls.
Yeah, I can see that part on the Spectate. It just didn't show me the cards that were presented to you.
Interesting.
And so with the delay on the stream, it didn't pop up until it was too late to make the decision.
Yeah, sorry, I was waiting to make sure you had a chance to take a look before I just started clicking on stuff.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, normally their Giant Snake would have for sure been the pick, but we're still in a pretty good spot. Yeah, we've got it locked down. So the plays, you're just going to attack with the Gourmet, which will bring him to 7, and then you can put the armor on your Wisp Mother and skip the last rune entirely.
So we did want the armor. See, it all worked out just fine.
It all works out.
Okay, there we go. Game 1, win 1. And you know what? We're about an hour in. So we're going to give away 2 free packs for Heroes of Skyrim. And we are also going to give away 60 packs to one kind soul in the chat. A reminder to everybody in the chat, all you have to do to be eligible is to be in the chat right now and to be following us on Twitch. That's it. End of list. So make sure you're in the chat. I assume you are if you're looking at me right now. And the first person is going to win the 2 free packs, and the second person is going to be the winner of 60 packs. 60 packs. You want to give away, well, let's give away 1, Joe. 1 2-pack winner. Yep. So, Ivan Mong Congratulations, you won 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim. And the winner of the 60 packs of Heroes of Skyrim is Verity Dragon. Congratulations, sir, madam. You have just won a boatload of packs of Heroes of Skyrim. Congratulations. And with that, Charmer, once more into the breach.
All right, let's see what we got.
So we got the Gladiator Arena, so each of us is going to be taking some damage. And 4 more power, and we're going to draw a card over in the barracks lane. So I think we pitch the Sanctuary Raid. Question is, do we keep the Devour?
I think that keeping the Devour is probably fine.
Okay.
I like having a body and some form of removal. The big concern is that we don't have a 2-drop, but
there it is.
We got the Horker.
Ask and ye shall receive.
All right.
So as Charmer and I were talking about before, the benefit of a card like Pack Wolf allows you to play something in both lanes as opposed to one, so we can start to get going, I think, with the Rage Horker to the left.
Yeah, I think we definitely want to try to control that. That's going to be the equivalent of our field lane, and so we want to be the first one to establish a presence there.
Boy, the interesting thing is it would be backbreaking for us on our turn to get hit to draw our Fate Weaver, play it for free, and then what are we hoping for? One of our guards, maybe, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the best case scenario, if we were trying to flood the board, would be like Camlor and Sentinel, because we'd get a body and then something that protects our board state.
Summon a creature with 5 or more, give it +1/+1 a guard.
Well, we were close.
So do we still go to the left here, or do we go right, just to spread things out?
I think we still go to the left. We really want to control that. Again, think of that as like your just standard field lane. And
so do I, if I attack with the Horker, it turns into a 2/2, which still doesn't trade with this stupid thing. So do I just swing and break the rune?
I would break the rune because with the arena, there's not much reason to avoid them anyway.
Yeah.
And I would just gourmet the 2/4. The 2/4, if it gets its ability off, is a real thorn in your side.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether or not I attack this first to turn it into a 2/2 and then gourmet it, or...
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that leaving it as the 1/3 is fine.
But this is one of those lane conditions where, regardless of whether you tried to draft a aggro deck or not, you're playing an aggro game, because this thing is forcing both players to try and attack and do damage as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we devour this guy and just keep going. I mean, we could always attack first just to make sure.
Yeah, you want to attack first because if he hits a prophecy, it might change what we want to devour. But otherwise, we're just swinging and getting rid of that guy.
Swinging and devouring.
Yep. We're hungry. Let's eat. We got sweet rolls. We're devouring things. We got a chef on our side.
We got a raging Horker out. I mean, so far everything's coming up roses. So on 5. Not in a great position on 5. I am a big fan, as you probably are, of I like to use all my magicka, so this is really where I'd like to either see a 2-drop or a 5-drop just to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, our ability to saturate was nerfed a little bit there. Now, so this is interesting just because while I would like to saturate, if we saturate, then we're basically doing nothing else.
Yeah.
Whereas if we play the Fury, we can at least still force more damage.
I think we Fury and finish it with here and then go... well, do you keep the Horker alive or your Grizzly Gourmet?
I think we'd keep the Gourmet. It represents more damage, even though it's more brittle.
Yep. Goodbye, Horker. You served us well. Yeah, I'd seen a few folks in the chat asking about, hey, how do I link my account? It's very easy. You go to Bethesda.net, You log into your account, and once you click on your account, you can change your profile and there's a place under there to link accounts, and you can link your Twitch account, you can link your Xbox account, you can link a variety of different things. So that's where you go to link up Twitch with your Bethesda Net account, and then you'll be eligible for free drops whenever you watch or stream. All right, so we're on 6. We got a plethora of 3 drops.
We have a lot of 3 drops, but we actually can get more power on the board if we still undersaturate ourselves.
Are you thinking trainer and ally?
I was thinking trainer and pack wolf. So if you trainer on the right and then pack wolf on the left, pack wolf will become a 3/2 that could
so
potentially trade,
and then you get a 2/1.
Yeah, we still end up with the body on the other side.
I can live with that.
I mean, that's not to say he won't have answers, but at least it makes him like have to respond.
Well, look, this is going to miss any number of things. It's no longer a target for execute or whatever. Although if he's executing, he's definitely executing that. But
I'm also not too worried quite yet about being ultra defensive. We have 2 guards in hand, so if we need to just kind of stall, that's fine.
And let him keep taking 2 on his draw step.
Yeah, and we still have things like Knight of the Hour in our deck, so there's a chance we can get saved that way as well.
We could also next turn even... Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Incoming.
That's a horny sweet roll.
Well... Oh, good answer.
Yeah, I think that you got a Saint here. I was about to have some other like big game plan with the 7 Magica.
Is it better than getting 2 5/4 guards?
Yeah, I don't think it is in any situation. So the potential play we had would have been like Spymaster, Midnight Snack, and then either Camlorn or...
Here comes a Piercing Javelin. Or a 2/6 Mummy.
I'm going to go with Priest of the Moons.
That would be wonderful. I would take that right now.
He's taking a long time deciding, though. So I don't think it's a Javelin. I think Javelin would have been an easy decision.
Or Javelin, unless he's trying to figure out which one he wants dead more. Huh? All right. He's keeping something alive. Yeah. All right, so on 8, what I was thinking last turn was, well, we could always Sentinel to the left and have that just offer to trade for his 4/3 to not let that get through, and Cunning Ally, or we could have Thalmor drop that over to the right and allied, and then maybe gotten the Firebolt off of that to immediately get our 1/1.
Whoa, that's a big dude.
That is an answer.
Lightning Bolt seems really good.
Do we go to face with this? Because, I mean, that's who we want to hit, but we can't.
Yeah, I think you have to go face, because we're going to trade with the 4/1 anyway. And we kind of have to
we just run the wolf in here.
Yep, we're going to run the wolf in there.
And then...
And I think that the play now is we Cunning Ally to see if we get a Firebolt.
We'll go ahead and go left again, yeah?
Yeah. Because if it misses, we want to be able to deal with the sweet roll.
Which it did.
But, it got the buff, so we got to draw a card. That's fun. So here, I think that it's probably dropping our 2 guards on the right.
Yeah? Just not letting them get through with all that?
Well, we don't want him to hit us in the face with Nahagleave at all. And I think that you have to do both just because if he does have...
something, he can't get them both.
Yeah, like if he has a buff for the 2/1, something like that.
Yep.
Oh man, he had it anyway. That's gonna be it. He had too many answers. We're going to die to the arena, sadly.
Yep.
Well, turns out Nahagliv is pretty good.
Turns out that unique dragons are unique and also dragons.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right back in. In the meantime, Joe, please pick us out a winner. Even when we lose, you win for 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim. And the winner is Criticality. Congratulations, Criticality. You just won 2 free packs for Heroes of Skyrim.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that it was Nahagliv just because that meant we couldn't bolt that.
Yep, and then finish it off. So I think I throw back the bolt and I throw back the Fate Weaver and just keep the outlook.
Yep, I think that's fair.
Outlook, lookout, whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever way those words are supposed to read.
Pirate of the Ghost Sea.
All right, well, I think we ring and get the moon out, right?
I think we do, but this is an interesting decision. I think we actually start Shadow Lane.
To the right, just so that next turn, yeah, so that next turn we can maybe Cunning Ally over here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to ally or do we want to be aggressive? Because the Ghost Sea Lookout, we could still play ally next turn and then have our choice on whether or not we wanted to ring out the Firebolt. But we'd get a 4-2 instead of a 3-3.
I'm okay with doing the Lookout.
Yeah, I think the Lookout's the way to go. Oh, I would have said...
oh, yeah, I left a point of damage on the board. I should have played first, yep.
This is that game we'll be hoping for a Mage's trick because we left a damage.
Well, he doesn't have a Firebolt in hand because he would have snapped it off right there.
He answers with his own 4-2. Oh, Packwolf is great here. So we have an interesting decision to make.
Yeah, because you could cunning ally to the left and then hope to hit the bolt to finish this thing off so that we stay on the front foot and not let him trade. Or we can Packwolf just to...
Because Packwolf would buff itself after the token jumped into the other lane, right? But I think Cunning Ally is still better.
I do too.
I would play Cunning Ally right, because if it hits, then...
And we'd rather have him take out the 4-2 than the 3-3, I think. Because I think he's going to have answers for this.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to worry about it.
No, we don't have to worry about it.
I still think I might attack first.
Yeah, you always attack first before you Firebolt that, just because if they hit anything, you want to be able to respond.
Kill more, yeah.
So now, unless we draw something else extra saucy, Packwolf becomes a pretty fantastic play.
There's the Firebolt I was waiting on.
So if you play Packwolf on the right, it should put the Packwolf into play
over
there,
here,
and
and
when
buff
the
all
token
3 of these. Yeah. Oh, the saddest of all stronghold patrols. Yeah, I think we just don't really care about killing that or going to face.
Yep, that's a really strong turn for us for
swing
for just a little wolf.
We are actually looking at lethal next turn with the lightning bolt. Plus, we can get it back to turn afterwards with that. So.
Yep, and if we don't have lethal, Iron will return the only Firebolt we've played to our hand, and then we can immediately play it because of the discounted cost. So. There's a lot that we can do.
The card is good. Especially when you can put a 2/2 scimitar on it.
Yep.
Well, we would love to get a Devour. That would have been a great place for it.
Well, so here's I think that we actually play Iron on the left because it's going to buff everything up.
Yeah.
it's going to give us a firebolt back.
Which
and
we can cast for free, so we can run one of these into that, firebolt it, and then swing for 5 and 4.
Correct. So we can basically sacrifice our Priest of the Moons and the firebolt, and then keep the rest of the board.
Does it matter how I swing here? I don't think it does.
I think you go with the 5, because either one breaks a rune. And
yeah, if he's going to lightning bolt.
Yeah, there we go. We made great use of that flanking lane there. That's exactly why the tokens are so
that's
good.
Where, and not just tokens, but tokens that where you put one in each lane.
Yeah,
that's where those scouting patrols and pack wolves really come in handy. Joe, if you would, a winner, please. While we jump back in, Conungrudik, what? Conungrdk, whatever. Yeah, Kanung and then some series of consonants. Congratulations, you just won 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim. You are the big winner. Uh-oh. Well, we go second, and we have good stuff. I think we just keep this whole thing, yeah?
I mean, I think that...
I could see an argument for pitching the Spymaster, but...
I was going to say, I could see an argument, but worst case scenario, you just hit it with your own Wabbajack, and it's like it did its own thing anyway.
Yep. And because we're going to start to spit stuff real cheap here real quick.
Yeah,
so which one? I think I start with the Redoran Enforcer.
Yeah, you start with the Redoran on the left because we want that nice surplus lane. I don't think, however, that we Wabbajack it right away.
I don't either.
Typically, I find in these matches, if you can be the person who Wabbajacks last, you're better off.
I find the exact same thing. Because you want to be able to respond to when they turn the Wabbajack into some crazy creature that you can hit it again and change it into something less horrifying.
Right, or if you've used your charge last and you got something great and they're already done, then they can't respond with theirs.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if what I try here is Spymaster to the left and see if I hit one of these two that I could...
Well, you're going to hit something that costs 3 regardless.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to Spymaster for sure. And then you can go ahead and play the Thalmar.
And so, yeah. So what am I looking for here at 3? Well, a big mammoth. That is a thing.
Hey! This is where you do the old bad manners thank you emote.
Well, I was trying to say oops.
Oh.
Oh. Hello.
Oh, even better. Let's go ahead and Royal Sage before we swing, because if we get Ward, it's even better.
Yeah.
Because we have...
Well, I was wondering, like, do I get Crazy Greedy and Pack Wolf just to get even more out, but...
Yeah, I don't think that we can... Because even if we discount, like, we'd have to get both discounts on the Sage. Oh, we hit the charge, too. Oh, man.
So and he got the card, so technically I don't even have to attack his mammoth if I don't want. I could just swing with everything, or I could trade the 2/3 for the 4/4.
If it was me, I would consider just ramming the Pit Lion into the 4/4 anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. If we let him respond, he might put an item or something on it, and we want to kill it, and we're okay with this having 1 health, because on Spell Sword, he doesn't have a lot of ways to do 1 damage. If it was like Archer or something with a lot of pings, then I would say go ahead and sacrifice the 2/3, but 1 damage might as well be full health against Spell Sword.
Yeah, he hasn't got a lot of ways to... Sure. Sure.
Oh, that ward crafter.
Oh, ward crafter.
It's gonna do double duty.
Well, so
Ward
I think we pack wolf here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we ward crafter over here. Yeah, we still ward crafter.
Yep, because we want to protect our lion.
Go, kitty. I think I swing for 4 and then 1.
Yep, 4 and then 1. Because again, if he hits like a javelin, you want.
All right. So here's the question, damage. Which is we're on the back foot. I wonder, do we Wabbajack the pack wolf?
The 1/1, yeah, absolutely. Because we still have the opportunity to Wabbajack last, but you're never gonna get better value than Wabbajacking your own 1/1 anyway.
Yep.
And it feels good when you get an upgrade when you Wabbajack yourself.
And so then of course our hope is like we get he plays something and we get like a Devour, where we can spit out a token, and if we need to Wabbajack another 1/1 because off of whatever this will spit out.
Yep, Devour would be great. Even just Lightning Bolt.
Don't care. I thought he might try and. We don't have anything in our graveyard. We haven't died yet. All right, so I'm thinking Pit Lion to go ahead and get rid of this, or instead of the Royal Sage. Would you run the Royal Sage instead?
So what I would consider doing here first is I would actually consider attacking with your 3/3 on the right-hand side. Because
break the rune?
We're going to break the rune, but then also it's already done its job, and we could Wabbajack. Well, now attack with the 2/1, because that's not going to break the rune. But we can Wabbajack the Ward Crafter, and if we hit something with a summon effect, it might actually deal with the 4/4 for us. So if you get like a Shocking Wamasu, for example, then you could just kill the 4/4 and then continue to swing face without having to sacrifice them.
True, except what I would say is if I make this trade here, I'm still swinging for another 7 and putting him to 4.
Well, we can do that even if we like whiff with the Wabbajack.
Right.
Iron doesn't have like look at our graveyard. Iron is not. Oh, that was a great rip on our.
All right, so which one do we get rid of, the Sage or the Lion?
So again, because it's Spell Sword, I think it's the Sage, because 1 health might as well be full health. They don't have a lot of good ways to do 1 damage.
And I think I'm just going to keep swinging. He can have whatever he wants. It's fine. So do I play Aryan just to, or does it even matter? No.
I would play Iron. Just
we ran out of time.
Yeah, that's fine too. But I would have played Iron just because at that point,
you're just looking to put the final.
He can't Dawn's Wrath. He can't. Nope. Like the only thing that would have saved him would have been maybe an Immolating Blast.
That's not going to save him. That's not going to save him. He needs to Wabbajack this and hit something awesome. Or I guess he's going to attack for 1 and then try and hit something awesome. What does he need? He needs a Manticora.
Yeah, but he can't. He can't rely on the guard there because we still have a charge from the Wabbajack. So even Manticora was a guaranteed save.
Right. It wasn't terrible. It just also wasn't enough.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then?
And then?
GG. Alrighty, that means it's time to give away 2 more packs for Heroes of Skyrim. And the winner is Julian GMR. Congratulations, you have just won 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim. How are we on time, Joe? It's 6 o'clock on the dot. We got time for maybe 1 more, Joe? Sure. Joe wants to go home, Charmer. It's Friday.
That's fine. I'll allow it.
Killing fields all over the place. All right, well, let's see if we can at least get to 4 and 1. Heck, you know, I think this is just a keep. Charmer?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any 1-drops to fish for.
No, I think we go left, left, and then if everything's still alive, we Imperial reinforcements to the right and get a 1/1 and just keep going, right?
Yeah. And with the lanes the way they are, that reinforcements is significantly better.
It's a lot of dudes.
It's going to feel really bad if he has a Skaven Pyromancer, though.
I still think we stick the Enforcer out in front of him, right?
Yep. I was just going to say, this is a bad lane setup for our Gourmets, sadly.
Yes. It's not likely, particularly playing this against this kind of deck that's going to find something with... I mean, at least we get a 3/1 for it.
Right. We just got to hope he's got 1/1s somewhere in there.
Ew, gross. Well, do we Cleric and buff this so that at least it can tangle twice with this? And
yeah, I think that's the only play that you really have.
Cleric to the left?
Yeah, everything else means your Enforcer dies, and then he can just turn around and trade the Guardian back in. This way.
Yeah, both of these trade with either of these. And then unless he does something drastic, I think I'm still next turn just going to Imperial Forcements to the right, because I'll take 4 2/1s to the right. Also could be fairly ugly against us right now.
Oh, the Warden is not terrible with this lane setup.
Not at all. Yeah, it's going to take out 3 of these guys, right?
It will if we play it to the right. We could play it to the left and get rid of the bigger threat while only losing 2. So like if we trade first and then play it left, we get that play, and then we can play Iron on the right the following turn to get rid of the Warden and get our reinforcements back.
Yeah, I like that. So, in the who is the beatdown equation, it is definitely not us.
It is certainly not us. I mean, the other potential play we had there is we could have played Grizzly Gourmet on the Warden.
All right, so I think I just hit this thing, right?
I would consider bolting the 3/3.
Really? Because we have, I guess, we could always Cunning Ally next turn along with the Priest, because the Priest will proc off.
That's what I was. Well,
right.
But we can't play the. Well, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that actually. We'll Cunning Ally and see if we can do this. That's also not a bad draw here.
I was gonna say we can also like Gourmet the 1/5, and then you could play Wardcrafter on your Gourmet or on itself to trade with the 4/2.
You like that better than the Ally?
I do,
probably, yeah, because we need to get rid, and we don't have the ability to. All right, let's do that.
It's a dangerous sweet roll.
It is. Does it even matter which one I Wardcrafter? I guess I Wardcrafter the 3/1.
I mean, they're going to both be 3/1s, so doesn't really matter.
Question is, do we keep swinging here and give them cards, or do we just stop here?
I think we would stop here for now.
I think so too. I don't think we need to be giving him additional cards since we're behind.
Yeah, I mean, unless he has a really awesome turn this turn, we're like 1, maybe 2 turns max out from taking full control of the board, and then we can drive it home.
So right now, are we leaning more if we go If we get to pull back, are we more likely to pull the enforcements or the lightning bolt? Because they're both tempting.
I think it depends on...
Like right now, the enforcements aren't nearly as enticing.
Yeah.
Particularly now.
No, now we would for sure hope for the lightning bolt, because that would give us an option for taking out that 5/4. Though, we do also have the option of potentially playing like Camlorn and Cunning Ally.
Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the play, right? Trade here, Camlorn Sentinel, Cunning Ally. If he attacks into this, I can finish off with the Firebolt.
Yeah. The real question that we have to decide, so we can go ahead and take the trade. The 3/1's going to eat the 4/2 regardless of what we do. We have to decide if we feel like trying to throttle up our damage now, or if we're going to wait one more turn. Because if we're going to do it now, you want to attack before you play your other cards.
Well, I think, if we want to do it now, it's because we're trying to set up a turn where we could potentially get a Golden Saint off if we can Sentinel and Cunning Ally, right?
Right.
All right, we're going to go for it. All right, and we're going to Sentinel to the right, and I think we Cunning Ally to the right.
Yep. We whiffed.
Wah, wah. But what could he have here that gets rid of the Camlorn? He could have the what's the kill a creature if you have power greater than
Stone Throw. He could have even just something like Cast Out or the Red Shout.
He could have a 7/6 dragon even.
Yeah, you could have a big dude.
All right, well, I think our play here is still swing with everything, 4, 8, 12, and Golden Saint. Now the problem, of course, is if he stops any of that, then we don't hit our Golden Saint.
Well, we just need the tokens to get through, so I would consider attacking with them first.
Yeah.
Because we also, of the prophecies that could hurt us, the tokens would get punished hardest by like a Grotwood Ambusher, so...
Right. So do we go ahead and swing here and put him to 8 or put him to... Well, we might as well put him to 6, right?
So I would actually consider trade with the 5/1.
Yeah.
Because there is a chance with removal. He only needs 1 more damage, right? With
with those 2 on the board.
So I would do that. Then I would swing here to crack the rune.
Which, of course, he gets a prophecy on.
Yep, but then when you play Golden Saint,
to the left.
play it in the left.
Yeah, because we got to break this, otherwise we don't get the other one. Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's still a 2/1.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, he didn't have lethal on board, but he would have if we would have broken that last rune and not traded with the Shadowfen. I'm just
yeah. No, that makes total sense. You don't want to leave like a chance. I mean, he could have a scimitar to throw on something and have enough to.
You could have Gatekeeper, Fireball, just any ping effect for 1 damage, right? Like, there's so many things.
Man, we talked about like in that when we were sort of debating. There you go, Orcish Warhammer. That would have been GG. Let's hope it's not still GG. Oh, thank goodness for those lane conditions. Well.
Yeah, it still definitely puts us in a
actually, oh, that actually helps us. We have lethal here with this if we get the.
If we get the lightning bolt.
If we get the lightning bolt.
If we don't get the lightning bolt, then we just outright lose.
Well, there's nothing to do, and there's no way we can handle it because this has breakthrough. So we could deal 3 there.
Yeah, no, I think we have to take the Hail Mary realistically. The only other option would be maybe something with Spymaster high rolling, but I'm not a fan of that.
I think that's our least likely option.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. One time.
Yeah.
Play to our odds, right?
That's right.
And look, I actually hit it the right thing with it. I didn't hit me. I didn't hit this. You never know with me, Charmer. You know this.
I've lightning bolted myself before as well.
You're just trying to make me feel better. You have not. You're too good to do something like that. All right, kids. That's going to do it for the stream for today. But before we go, we have important business. We have more things to give away. So once again, Joe, let's get one winner. The first one will be for 2 packs of Heroes of Skyrim. The second winner and final winner of the stream is going to get 60 cards of Heroes of Skyrim. Charmer, are you ready?
I am ready.
It'd be really funny if the bot pulled Charmer up since he's in the chat. That would make me laugh. But it did not. So the winner of 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim is Commander Shepard 95. So the other 94 Commander Shepards, I apologize, but it was not you. Congratulations, Commander Shepard. You just won 2 free packs of Heroes of Skyrim. And the winner of the second of the 2 60 packs of Heroes of Skyrim that we're giving away starts with a vowel. Does your username start with a vowel? Has 3 numbers at the end. Does your username have 3 numbers at the end? The winner is Ascaron809. Congratulations. You just won 60 packs of Heroes of Skyrim. Very pleased for you. Congratulations. Thanks for everybody for joining us today. Charmer, most of all, thank you so much for joining me. This was a ton of fun. I learned a lot. I hope you guys did too. Charmer, where can folks find you if they want to watch your content? They want to find you on Twitter to ask you questions. Where can they find you?
Oh, man. I'm on Twitter at Charmer_streams. I've got a YouTube channel that's just Charmer. Twitch is the same, Charmer_streams.
Charmer with a 3, not an E.
That is correct, because I am entirely juvenile. And then I have a website as well. So, oh yeah, I was gonna post them, but bots eat my links. Do. But yeah, all over the place. I'm everywhere.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. Had a blast. We'll have to do this again soon. Again, thank all of you for joining me on the stream. I will be out next week because next week is QuakeCon, so I will be down in Dallas where it is probably 150 in the shade. But in the meantime, Charmer, you have an awesome weekend. Good luck in the Chaos Arena this weekend. You guys have an awesome weekend as well. Be good to each other, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Take care.